Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Saundra. I hope you are having a fabulous, fabulous Sunday. It is a beautiful day here in North Carolina, and I am so excited about tonight's teaching in Impact Academy. So I hope that you have pencil and paper and you are ready to get started. I hope that you are in anticipation of tonight's lesson. So first of all, let me welcome all of my live viewers. I know that there are live viewers already on tonight. I see you jumping on. So welcome, welcome, welcome to all the live viewers. I want to welcome all of the replay viewers. For those of you who are watching this on the replay, welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who will see this on YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. And so I just am excited to welcome everyone tonight. Always, always, always give a very special shout out to the ladies of the inner circle. I hope you are having a fabulous, fabulous Sunday. To the ladies of cohort 1 of Vision Coach Certification Program. Hope you're having a fabulous day. If you're online tonight, please give me a shout out on the screen and give me a hello there to let me know you're here. When I'm on live with my computer, it doesn't tell me actually who actually is on until you actually say something. So I see that people are on and here, and welcome everyone. And normally I go through and say everybody's name, but I have so many people that join that I don't want to miss anybody. So I just want to say welcome to everyone. Welcome, welcome Vision Building Women. Welcome those of you who are new and this is your first teaching with me on tonight. It is going to be a deep one. Let me tell you, it is going to be a deep one. So yes, I see people logging in. Hello, hello, and again, welcome. Again, welcome to Vision Building Women. Welcome to the Inner Circle. Welcome to Cohort 1 of the Vision Coach Certification Program. I see Gail, Lady Jazz, Robin, Yolanda, Kathleen. Hello, Yolanda Stith. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think this may be your first time, so welcome. And hello, I see April. I see so many people are joining in. The numbers just keep going up, up, up. And so just welcome everyone. Now, I want to go ahead and get started on tonight with tonight's teaching, because tonight's teaching, I want to really, really get us to a point where we are finally saying that I am walking in my purpose. Okay. And the reason I want to do this, and I'll give you a little bit of a background, is that on Tuesday, yes, day after tomorrow, I actually begin chapter 55 of my life. All right. I will be 55 on Tuesday, July 3rd. Those of you that know me well, everybody that knows me knows that my birthday is July 3rd. Okay. Because I never let people forget it. All right. So I just love birthdays. I love my birthday. I love everybody else's birthday. So I really get into birthdays. But Tuesday is my chapter 55. I'm starting chapter 55, and I have something very special that the Lord has told me to do for the 55th year of my life. And so it's going to be a challenge to me. I'll tell you what that is actually on July 3rd. It's going to be a challenge to me, but I'm going to do it because God's placed it in my heart, and I really want to do it because I know it'll bless me and it'll bless others that are out there. So chapter 55 starts on Tuesday. And as we all do when we begin to look at our birthdays, we begin to think about, why am I here? Okay. Why did God have me here? What am I supposed to be doing? Especially if you get to around this age between 35 and 40, you begin to think about, why are you here? You begin to want to do something different with your life. You get around 40 to 45. You begin to say, am I really walking in my purpose? Am I really doing those things that God has called me to do? You get around 45 to 50, especially when you hit that 50, you just begin to ask yourself, oh my goodness, have I really been doing those things that God said for me to do? And then when you get on the other side of 50 plus, you begin to feel like you're squirming and you're going really fast and you're trying to play catch up, because you just begin to ask yourself, am I doing and am I walking in the purpose that God has for me? So, and I will tell you, every single time. And I will say, I have done a lot of speaking engagements this year. Between January and now, I have been teaching and preaching and speaking and training and just doing so many things in so many different arenas that I get this same question over and over. And those of you that know me know that I have notes all down here. And so if you see me looking down, that's why I'm looking down, because I don't want to forget anything. And I want to make sure that I have all of my notes. Turn my ringer off because someone always calls me while I'm on here. Okay. And so, like I said, every teaching, preaching, speaking, training, appointment that I get, someone always asks me about purpose. Can you talk about purpose? If I'm on a panel, someone will ask me to talk about purpose. If I've been asked somewhere to speak, someone says, can you sort of align purpose into that? Even when I went to speak and I was a keynote for the OBGYN conference in Florida, they asked me to put information in there about purpose. When I'm preaching somewhere, it always comes out. It's like God just says, tell the women what their purpose is. Make sure they understand what they're supposed to be doing in Christ. And so as I began to think about that, and I'm looking at, okay, I'm 55. Want to make sure that I am doing what God has said for me to do. Then I just said, well, if I have these kinds of questions, always want to make sure if I have these questions, and I'm sure other women do too. And so questions like, why am I here? What was I born to do? How do I find my purpose? And like I said, this is my birthday month. Okay. And so I'm going to spend my entire birthday month answering these types of questions. As you see posts in Impact Academy, as you see emails from me. Now, if you're not on my email list, then make sure that you sign up for my email list, okay? And you can go to www.drsaundraspeaks.com. drsaundraspeaks.com and sign up for my email list. Okay, make sure that you're on that, because there are things that go out to the email list that may or may not be here in the Vision Building Women group. And one of the things that I know that God has called me to do is God has called me to help purpose-driven women who are ready for their next level. And so as I look at that, I said, well, God, you would think that those of us that are purpose-driven know what our purpose is. Okay. And it really dawned on me. And I was talking to a group of women, and I was just like, okay, I know what I'm here for. And it amazed me that even that particular group, and I won't name the group, but even that particular group that I was speaking with that particular day still had questions about purpose. And so what I want to do tonight is I want to walk you through what God has given to me as 3 critical questions that you have to answer. These are not for me to answer. I've already been through them and answered them. I'm going to give you some information on them tonight. But 3 critical questions to walking completely in your purpose. 3 critical questions to walking completely in your purpose. Now, again, welcome everyone. I see lots of other people have joined us. These numbers keep going up and up. And I really appreciate everyone who logs in from Vision Building Woman, everyone who watches the replay, whether you watch it here in the Facebook group or whether you watch it on YouTube. Those of you that will be watching this via email, thank you, thank you, thank you. Special shout out, of course, to the Inner Circle and to the Vision Coach Certification Cohort number 1. Thank you to all of you. I see others have joined us. I see some of the Inner Circle are here. Ernestine. Hello is my cousin Laura, my friend Lisa. Hello, Nora. Hello to everyone who is here this morning. Hello, Cynthia, Krista, Kimberly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see people are continuing to join in. So again, welcome everybody. So like I was saying, tonight's topic is 3 critical questions to walking completely in your purpose. Now, as I was really just thinking about, is this something that I really, really want to do? God, why are you saying to do this? I know women ask me about it. I know we talk about it. Lord, I know that you said, let's spend a whole month, talking about purpose. And when we get to July 31st, there's 31 days in July. When we get to July 31st, that every single woman who is on this particular Facebook Live, if you keep up and you stay on target and you do the things that we ask you to do during this month and you take some action, okay, that's going to be critical, okay? You take some action, then walking completely in your purpose is something that you are going to be able to do, all right? So, I said, Lord, why is it that you want me to do this? Okay, because I just don't like to do things just for the sake of doing it. I don't like to just do Facebook Lives just for the sake of doing it or teaching a particular topic just for that. So the Lord just gave me Psalm 138:8, and this is for you. And it says that the Lord will perfect that which concerns me. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Your mercy, O Lord, endures forever. And then it says, do not forsake the work of your hands. And so tonight and for the rest of this month, my assignment, my job as a master vision coach and a calling and career mentor is to perfect that which concerns you about your purpose. You got it? To perfect that which concerns you about your purpose. So my birthday gift to you is to teach on purpose so that when July 31st gets here, you know what to do and you are taking action to walk completely in your purpose. All right. So I hope everybody's got that. If you've gotten that, and you understand, then let me know by giving me some hearts or type in a 1 if you've got it and you understand. You see, my job is that I am a master vision coach and a calling and career mentor. And I'm a master vision coach because I do just that. I help women, purpose-driven women who are high achieving, that want to move forward with the call of God on their life or want to move forward in their career. I actually help them to do that. I support them in doing that through coaching and through mentoring. And I help them to reach their next level of success. What is the next level that God is calling you to? Well, we put a plan to it, we execute it, and I help you to take action to get there. The women that work with me move further and they move further faster. Okay. If you're in the Vision Building Women group, you see some of the accomplishments that we celebrate with the people who are in that group. Thank you, Kathleen, and welcome, welcome. All right. So now I saw the lights going across the screen. I see some 1s up here. So that means that everybody is with me. I forgot I have to move this down in order to see y'all's comments. Okay. All right. So everybody's with me. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now let's get straight in this tonight. So the 3 critical questions to walking completely in your purpose. Let's look at each one of these. Now, these are questions. The 2 of these questions I'm going to ask you, and then I'm also going to answer it. The 3rd question, though, you have to answer for yourself and then take action on it. All right. Question 1 and 2, I'm going to ask and I'm going to answer. Question 3, I'm going to ask, but you have to take action on it yourself. All right. So question number 1. Question number 1 is very easy. It's very simple. You start out with something, you always ask this question. Do I really know the definition of purpose? Do I really know the definition of purpose? That's question number 1. So here is the definition of purpose. And I really need for you to get this because I don't want you to struggle with purpose anymore. I don't want you to wonder whether or not you're walking in your purpose. Okay. So question number 1, do I really know and understand the definition of purpose? Okay. So this is what purpose is. Okay. And if you're writing, I want you to write this. I'll say it twice so you can get it. Okay. And write it down. Purpose is the original intent of a thing that can only be defined by the maker of a thing. Okay, let me say that again. That purpose is the original intent of a thing that can only be defined by the maker of the thing. Okay, let's take, for example, purpose is defined by the person who makes the thing. All right. So your purpose is defined by the one who made you. And that person that made you is who? That person is God. All right. So purpose is always in the mind of the maker. So let me help you right here. If you are going and searching for your purpose in places like conferences, you go to conferences and they call them purpose conferences, and they say that we're going to find your purpose. You're not going to find it there, all right, because you're seeking the purpose in the wrong place. The only place that you are going to find your purpose is by the one that made you, and that is God. And I'm going to give you what that is tonight. Now, I'm going to take it a little bit further, because you might say, well, Dr. Saundra, I hear what you're saying, but isn't there more to purpose than that? Yes, and we're going to take it a step further on tonight. All right. So first of all, I want you to know that every one of us was created for a purpose. Now, here's the thing. Every one of us, because we are all children of God, and you have to remember that when I teach from the perspective that we are all children of God, that we all know God, that we all have a personal relationship with him. All of my teaching has a biblical foundation. And if you've ever heard me speak, if you're on here, you've heard me speak in a corporation, you know, I don't go into corporations and say, thank you, Jesus, hallelujah, praise the Lord. I don't do that. But my leadership, when I go in and I do leadership training, when I go in and I do corporate training, and when I go in and I do corporate coaching or coaching with women in corporations, everything I do is biblically based, even my leadership training. So the kind of things I'm teaching you here, I can do the same thing in the corporate. Okay, I just don't necessarily give scripture and all that with it like I'm going to give you on tonight, because when we are all children of God, wherever we are, you have to be who you are. That's one thing about purpose, that whoever God made you to be, you have to be that person, be who you are, wherever you are. Let me say that again. You have to be who you are. And let me add this. You have to be who you are and whose you are, wherever you are. Make sure you get that. You have to be who you are and whose you are, wherever you are. So when I go and I speak to a room full of hundreds of OBGYNs, or if I am preaching a Sunday service somewhere, or if I am doing a teaching for a women's conference or a women's retreat, and I do all of those, it doesn't matter where I'm teaching. I am who I am, regardless of where I go. Okay, I am who I am, regardless of where I go. You have to know how to move in and out of different, I guess you would say them atmospheres, or different places where you're going to teach. But you have to know that you are made by God, because when you know that you're made by God and you know that you are his, then you can be who you are and whose you are wherever you are. You don't have to try to change up just because you're in a different place. Okay, so that's a whole different kind of training that I teach in the Vision Coach certification program. One of the things that they will learn is that they will learn, how can I take the same topic? I took the same topic that I teach in corporate and I preached that one Sunday. Okay, because it's all about God, and it's all about how you deliver it and who you deliver, who you're delivering it to. All right. So going back to purpose. Okay. So remember that when we're talking about purpose, that it's the original intent of a thing, and you have to know that your intent and what God intended you for you to be is not something that you're going to find anywhere but in his word, and by having a relationship with him. Okay, in his word and having a relationship with him. So I want to give you these three things, and I don't want you looking or searching for purpose anymore. Okay, because I'm going to give you these for the answer to question number one, actually understanding and knowing the definition of purpose. And then we're going to take it a little bit further, and we'll get something to drink. Then we're going to take it a little bit further and actually put some action to purpose. Okay, because many people may understand their purpose, but they don't take action and put some action to it because of a small gap. And we're going to close that gap tonight. Okay, so understanding your purpose biblically. 3 things. Don't want you to forget these. So when God made us, he made us for number 1, to glorify him. And you can find that in John 17:4. Number 2, he made us to witness to the lost. All right. You can find that in Matthew 28:19-20. And then number 3, he made us to destroy the works of the enemy. And you can find that in 1 John 3:8. All right. Let me say that one more time. God made us for a 3-fold purpose. Number 1, to glorify God, to glorify him. I want you to read and meditate on John 17:4. He made us for the purpose of witnessing to the lost. Matthew 28:19-20. All right. He also made us to destroy the works of the enemy. That's our part 3 of our 3-fold purpose, to destroy the works of the enemy. And that's found in 1 John 3:8. Okay. And so I'm sure you might be saying, Dr. Saundra, that's all spiritual and all that. But what do I need to do? Okay. So now that answers your question number 1. Okay. Do I really understand the definition of purpose? Okay. And what is God's purpose for me? Do I understand the definition of purpose and what is God's purpose for me? You got that? All right. Now, number 2 is sort of the gap between question number 1 and the last one. Because number 2, you have to look inside yourself and begin to ask yourself, what are some of my own gifts, my own talents, my skills, my abilities, and what do they say about me? Okay. So here's question number 2. Question number 2 is, what is the connection between my purpose and my calling? All right. What is the connection between my purpose and my calling? And I see that you guys are commenting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lady Jazz. Lady Jazz is putting the information on the screen. Thank you so much. I see others of you are joining. Hello, everyone again that is joining live, replay, YouTube. Special shout out to Inner Circle and Vision Coach Certification Cohort 1. All right. So welcome to everyone. So again, question number 2 is, what is the connection between my purpose and my calling? Now, here's the thing that you have to remember, that there is a difference between purpose and calling. You got to understand there is a difference between the two. Now, your purpose are those things that I gave you. And if you're a Christian, then that is your purpose. Don't look for it anymore. That's why God made you. That's why you are here. And actually, I was and I don't see my notes for that. I was actually at the Full Gospel Conference in Columbus, Ohio, this past week, being poured into and actually being trained myself in a certain area. And so our teacher actually gave us another part to that purpose. And I may add that. I haven't done studying on that yet. I may add that. These 3 I've studied in depth. So for question number 1, do I really know the definition of purpose? It's the original intent of a thing that can only be defined by the maker. Purpose is in the mind of the maker, the mind of God. When he made us to glorify him. He made us to witness to the lost. He made us to destroy the works of the enemy. That was his purpose for making us. Therefore, that is your purpose. Okay. Now, question number 2, what's the connection between my purpose and my calling? I'm glad you asked. Now, this is what I need you to remember. When you think about purpose answers the question, why? Okay. Why am I here? Okay. Purpose answers the question, why am I here? All right. Calling answers the question, how am I going to do my why? Okay. What gifts, what abilities, what has God given me such that I can operate in a calling so that I can actually walk in and do the purpose that God has made me for? Now, I need for you to understand this because I don't want you to be confused, and confusion is a trick of the enemy. And I know that as you all study this week, as you all begin to, so I'm going to give you a couple of things I want you to do, excuse me, at the end of this, as you all study this week, I know that the enemy is going to try to make you begin to wonder. Well, that's why that I want to make sure tonight that you get the proper teaching on these two things, purpose and calling, because it's so critical, because for the reason that some of you are so frustrated and where you are is because you may know that your purpose is the threefold purpose that we gave you, but you may not be operating in your calling. And if you're not operating in your calling that actually allows you to live out that purpose, then you get to a point of frustration. You get to a point where you get tired. You're working, but you're not working in the right way. See, so many times people will tell us what our calling is, or people will say that I know that you've been called to do such and such. Well, here's the thing. Just like your purpose is given by God, your calling and the gifts that go along with your calling are also given by God. All right. And so when other people try to attempt to tell you things about your calling and your purpose, it really, and you're not there, or there's something about it that you just can't see, then you begin to get frustrated. I don't want anyone else, any vision building woman, to be frustrated about what you believe that God has called you to do. Okay, about what the calling is on your life. Now, let's look at some more about purpose versus calling. Okay, or purpose and calling. Remember that we said that purpose answers the question why, and calling answers the question how. How do I get this done? Now, let me give you an example. All right, and this will help us further define question number 2. What's the connection between my purpose and my calling? Now, think about the utensils in a kitchen. Okay, think about the utensils in the kitchen, and they all serve the same purpose. You've got, let's just think of 3. You've got a knife, a fork, and a spoon. Okay, knife, fork, spoon. Okay, so with the knife, fork, and spoon, they all have the same purpose. And the purpose of each one of those is in some form or fashion to serve food. All right, everybody get that? Their purpose is to serve food. But their individual calling is unique to each one of them. All right. The knife, for example, a knife will cut food into smaller pieces. All right. Spoons stir things up. All right. You've got forks. Forks you generally stick into food, and you generally use a fork to eat with. Okay. So even though all of them have the purpose to serve food or to do something with food, all right, the calling on each one of those utensils is different. All right, you've got to understand this. I hope you're getting this. Click a 1. Give me a 1 if you're getting and understanding what we're saying here on tonight about purpose versus calling. All right. So remember, all the utensils have the same purpose, but they do different things. Okay. Purpose is general. All right. Very, very general. You look at it from a general perspective. That threefold purpose is very, very general. Calling is specific. Okay. Calling is specific. I like that, Lady Jazz. Are you a knife, a fork, or a spoon? I like that. All right. So again, purpose is general. Threefold purpose, very general. But when we get to calling, calling becomes very specific to you. All right. I want you to understand that your calling is how you're going to live out what is in you, such that you will be able to do the purpose that God intended for you to do. Your calling is as unique as your fingerprint. Okay. Everybody knows that your fingerprints, very unique. Every person's fingerprint is different. So you might say, well, Dr. Saundra, everybody has, sorry, I forgot that mine. There we go. You might say, Dr. Saundra, everybody has if everyone has a unique calling, why are there more than one person called to teach? Or why are there more than one person called to pastor? Or why are there more than one person called to leadership in government or in education? Those are all different ways that God calls us. Well, here's the thing. Yes, you may have more than one person called to teach. You may have more than one person called to pastor. You may have more than one person that's called into leadership and education or leadership in government or whatever your calling may be, but we all do it differently based on the skills, the gifts, and the abilities that God gives to us. Come on, you've got to get this. All based on the gifts, the skills, and the abilities that God gives us. So if you are a teacher and you're a teacher of the word, you're called to teach. If you are a teacher and God says that you're to teach in K-12, okay, you're still called to teach, but your audience may be different than mine. Okay. I see Lolita Brown on here. Hello, Lolita. How are you? Shout out to you. Lolita has an awesome learning center. She owns the whole block over here where her learning center is, and beautiful thing that's going on with the kids. And she teaches children. She's called to teach and administer teaching to that age group. We're all called to teach. All of us have a teacher's calling. But here's the thing. We are all the gifts, the skills, and the abilities that go along with that calling. We're going to be using it differently, or we have different skills, gifts, and abilities, and we use those in our calling. So yes, our calling may have the same name, but how we use that is unique. That's unique. For example, I have the calling of teacher, but I can't go into a daycare with 2-year-olds and expect to teach them. I can't. Okay. Some of you may have the calling of teacher, or some of you may have a leadership calling, or some of you may have a different type of calling, but you have to know where in this season am I to actually operate and walk out that calling on my life. So yes, hi Sharon, thank you. One purpose, different, unique callings. Exactly. One purpose, unique callings. Jazz says, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Yes. Whenever you're called to do something, when God calls you, he's going to give you unique gifts, skills, and abilities to be able to do what he's called you to do, where he's called you to do it. Okay. So now let me get back. So just like all of us have the same purpose, threefold: glorify God, witness to the lost, and destroy the works of the enemy. Threefold purpose. How we do that is based on our calling and the gifts, the skills, and the abilities that God gives us for that call. All right. I don't want this to be confusing to you. And I know it's not, because God does not deal in confusion. I want you to get this, and I want you to really study this. Some of you may need to watch this particular teaching more than once. And the reason I say that is because some of you have been frustrated for way too long as to why aren't you walking in your calling? Or you may even ask yourself, I'm not being used in my calling. Okay. Let me tell you something that someone told me. It's been about a month ago now. I heard someone say that she wasn't being used. And the person, I was a part of the conversation. She wasn't asking this question to me, but I was a part of the conversation. So she says, I'm not being used. So the response was, you're not being used because you're not stepping up and saying, this is what I want to do, or this is what God is calling me to do. You see, so many times we're waiting on this humongous, I guess you could say, this humongous thrust of God to say, okay, here is your calling, and this is what I want you to do. Well, here's the thing. God places in you gifts, skills, ability, talents. Take those, begin to use those. And when you begin to do that, you will begin to see where God has you and where he wants you to be, so that you can be operating in your calling, and at the same time, you're living out that threefold purpose for him. So some of you may do your threefold purpose in education. Some of you may be called to do your threefold purpose in the corporate world and technology. Some of you may be called to do that threefold purpose in full-time ministry. But your gifts, your skills, your abilities, those are the things that determine where you're going to operate in that call, such that you can actually be walking out that purpose. Stop looking for purpose and start operating in your call. Oh, let me say that again. Stop looking for purpose and begin to operate in your call. You don't have to look for purpose anymore. I've given you the definition. I want you to study the scriptures for yourself. I don't have time to do a whole study of the scriptures because it would just take too long. But my new teacher of teachers, okay, who is actually the person that I'm sitting under now to be able to become a better teacher, all right, because those of us that are teachers, you're never, ever get to a point where you know everything. And so I was in this woman's class for 3 days. I think it was a total of like 4 or 5 hours over the course of 3 days. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I thought I knew a lot until I sat under her. But that's what God does. God gives you people in your life such that you can begin to grow. All right. Now, what God has put me here for in this season in your life, my birthday month, is my birthday present to myself as a teacher, is to make sure that by the time July 31st gets here, you not only know your purpose, but you already know that now, right? We answered question number 1, but you're also operating in your calling. You are taking your gifts, your skills, your abilities, and you are saying, with those skills, gifts, and abilities, I am going to operate in the call that God has called me to. And let me tell you something else. Here's something else. Stop trying to put a name to a call. Okay. Everybody wants to say that I have the calling of pastor, or I have the calling of evangelist, or I have the calling of prophet or teacher or apostle. And those are wonderful. Okay. But some of you may not be called to the ministry, to those offices of the ministry. Some of you may have a calling such that you can help other people. You have a calling of encouragement, okay? And you have the gifts, skills, and the abilities to help to encourage others. Some of you have a calling where you just connect people. I mean, I've seen people who their talents, their talents, and their abilities help connect people and lead people in the right direction. Then do that. What are your gifts, your skills, and your abilities? And those gifts and those skills and those abilities, they are your calling. All right. They map to your calling. Stop trying to figure it out and just begin to use your gifts, your skills, and your abilities. Okay. I can't say that enough. Stop trying. Stop making it so difficult such that you're trying to figure out what's my calling? I don't know what my calling is. Okay. Just begin to operate in your gifts. Okay. If you're great with young people, all right, then go work with young people somewhere. All right. If you have a heart for young people, then go work with them. If you have the gifts, the skills, the ability, the heart, the passion, then go do it. All right. There's lots of different youth programs that need your help. Okay. If you're good with writing and you say, well, I don't think that God is calling you to write a book. Well, he may not be calling you to write a book, but if you're good with writing, there are lots of other authors around here that may need your help. Then go help them. Okay. If you're good with writing and you say, well, I'm not really called to help people write books, I'm really called to help young people, then begin to go and work with some people in some high schools that need some help with writing. Oh, I cannot tell you enough that it is so important to operate in your gift. And when you operate in your gift, then what you are doing is you are fulfilling your purpose. Because believe me, if you're operating in the gifts, the skills, the abilities, the passion that God has given you, then you will be giving him glory. You will be witnessing to the lost. You will be destroying the works of the enemy. Ladies, it's just that simple. Woo! I tell you, I'm not going to apologize. I'm getting ready to be 55 years old. I'm not going to apologize for much anymore. Okay. I'm not going to apologize for my passion. I'm not going to apologize because my birthday gift for myself is to make sure that I'm walking in God's purpose for my life. And I'm doing that by walking out his call of teacher on my life every single day this year. Every single day this year, I am looking for God to teach me something. I have no idea what he's going to teach me. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But every single day I expect, because my calling is teacher, because that's a gift, because that's a passion, because I have a passion to see people learn, and people, women especially, to get to their next level in their calling and their career, because it's my full-time job now. It's what I do full-time, and I love it, through coaching and mentoring. Because it's what I do full-time, then I'm putting my all into it. What about you? Are you going to put your all into your calling? Are you going to take your gifts, take your skills, take your resources, take your abilities, take your passion, and are you going to start doing something with it? Okay? Because here's the thing. Go back to the knife, the spoon, the fork example. The knife, the spoon, thank you, Holy Ghost. The knife, the spoon, and the fork, they are going to be utensils, regardless of whether they are used or not. All right? Because I wish I had a knife and a fork and a spoon. Sometimes I have some stuff in my drawer here, but I don't. All right? The knife, the fork, and the spoon, if you lay them out on the table, they still have the purpose of serving food. They still have the purpose of serving food. It's only when you pick them up and you start doing something with them, you start cutting with the knife, you start stirring with the food, you start eating with the fork. It's not until then that they know what their calling is, and they start operating in the unique call, and then they're walking out their purpose. They're walking completely in their purpose. You see, the reason that I put completely in there, remember that tonight's topic was 3 critical questions to walking completely in your purpose. Because see, you could know the answer to number 1. Remember, question number 1 was, do I really know the definition of purpose? You can know the answer to number 1, but if you don't understand the connection between purpose and calling, meaning I can know my purpose, but if I don't do something, I'm not going to be walking completely in it. Okay. If you don't take your gifts, take your skills, take your abilities, if you don't take your resources, take your passion, if you don't take that and just do something with it. Some of you have some of you say, well, you know what? I'm on a job and I'm just doing a job every day, and I don't know what my gifts are. Believe me, sit down, write down everything you do. I had somebody do this once. We did this in the inner circle. It's been a while back, but we did this in the inner circle, and we literally sat down and we called it our treasure chest. Okay. And we listed out every single gift, everything we do, everything we know how to do. All right. We literally listed it out. Okay. We literally just listed it on a sheet of paper. And some people had lots of sheets of paper. Okay. Because until you actually sit down and list out what your gifts are, what you're able to do, what your passions are, who you're passionate for, what resources do you have, until you write a vision and put it on paper, okay, you really don't know what you can do. Okay, so you might say, well, you know, again, I'm just working a job. This is not something I really want to do. Okay, what skills do you have? What skills has that job actually taught you? What skills have you learned such that it can feed into your calling? You see, every job I've had, every single job I've had, from the time I started work in 1985, my first job was in 1985. By the time I started work in 1985, up until today, every single job, somewhere or another, I've had the ability to explain things to people. I never knew that was a calling of teacher. But because I had that ability and because I had the passion to see people just get stuff, just the light bulb is turned on and they got it. And because I saw that, and because I began to take on responsibility in the area where I could explain things. So I would take assignments at work that would allow me to learn something and explain it. Learn something and explain it. And eventually what I began to see is, oh, I'm really good at teaching. I'm really good at training. And so God had me going down that path. And I look at every single place that I have been. I look at every single thing that I have done, and it all goes back to teaching and learning, teaching and learning. And see, sometimes we don't want to take the time to do that. So it's easier to say, I don't know my call, as opposed to just sitting down and saying, okay, let me list some things that I know, that I know I can do, and then begin to work them. It might be that your passion, the thing that you're passionate for, the gifts, the skills, and the ability that you have, it might be that you have those. And it may be that you're not using them on your job. That may be true. But where can you use them? Where can you use them? All right. Some of you may say that, I have the gift of sewing. Well, let me go back. Let me go back for a second. So today was graduation at our church, and there's a young lady there, and I have known her for, I don't even know how long, years and years and years and years. Okay. And I wish I had her information in front of me, because I really would like to tell you who she is, because I want to, I can't do it. I don't want to mess up my screen here, because she's an artist. I never knew that. I've known this young lady for years and never known that she was an artist. All right. She's graduated. From college. She has art at the North Carolina Museum of Art, and she's doing her passion. Now, somewhere along the road, she found out that she could either draw or sculpt or whatever her art is. Somewhere she began to love it. And so she just began to do it. Now, she may have not been able to do it in her job every day, but somewhere, or Regina, thank you. Kathleen, thank you. Regina Holmes, thank you so much. My mind was going blank. Regina Holmes is her name. And she has art at the North Carolina Museum of Art. She has 2 pieces there. And it's hard to get art in any state museum. Believe me, been down that road because of what I used to do. It is difficult to get art in there. Anybody doesn't get their art in the North Carolina Museum of Art. She has 2 pieces in there. Somewhere she realized that she was an artist and that she really loved art. She found that passion. She knew she had that gift. Now, she may have not been able to do that every day on her job, but she found a place to do it. She found a place to do it. She continued to go there till now. Now she's getting ready to go and further her education in a whole different state. And she put on her, where she hopes to be one day, she put on that she hopes to have her own art exhibition. I expect to see that from her. The reason I expect to see that from her is because she was doing art, and now she found herself doing it more and more and more. And now it's part of her job. It's part of what she does. And now she's going on to do more of that. So many of us, sometimes we just want to do our calling wherever we are. And we get frustrated if we're not doing it. We get frustrated if we're not doing it. And then you say, well, I'm not doing my calling. I'm not sure if I want to continue doing this job. Or you just say, may take the easy way out. Oh, I don't know what God has called me to do. And so you don't do anything. Well, here's the thing. I am not going to renege on my birthday gift. My birthday gift is to make sure that you are walking in your calling. You're doing something. You are doing something such that you are walking in that call with your gifts, your skills, your abilities, your resources, your passion, and such that you are operating completely or walking completely in your purpose. Operate in your calling so that you can walk completely in your purpose. Even if you don't have but 5 minutes a day to do it, then do it. Okay. If you know that you have a gifting, if you know that you have a passion for something, then just start it. Just begin to do it. You know why this is so important? Because I'm a teacher, and I will tell you, there are people out there waiting on you to start that 5 minutes a day to operate in your call. And they can't be blessed until you begin to operate in your calling. Oh, ladies, this is so good to me because I know that whatever your calling is, you could be like Regina from my church and you can be an artist. And I know she didn't start out putting her stuff in the museum, in the state museum. She had to work her way to that. I didn't start out teaching like I'm doing now. I didn't start out as a vice president of a 58 community colleges. I didn't start out at that level of leadership. I started out as a little girl in Philadelphia's section community of Rockingham, North Carolina, who taught her daddy how to do fractions. And when I taught my dad how to do fractions, I learned that teaching and learning can change your life. And boom, that's when I realized. That's when I started teaching and learning, and every single job that I had, I would try to get into a place where I could learn something, explain something, learn something, explain something. So what are your giftings? What are you going to spend 5 minutes a day on? What gift do you have that you're going to spend 5 minutes a day on? I would say to you tonight, and then we're going to get to the last question. Last question won't take me long, okay? I say to you tonight, that if you just begin to spend 5 minutes a day, you know what? That bar is too low. Okay, that bar is too low. For some of you, that bar is a cop out. 5 minutes is a cop out. If you will begin to spend 30 minutes a day on your gift, let me write that down. 30 minutes a day on your gift. Okay, if you begin to spend 30 minutes a day on your gift, watch God begin to open some doors for you. Here's the thing. If you're not trying to cultivate your gift, and if you don't know what your gifting is, write out everything that you do. Write out everything that you know how to do and just begin to pray and ask God, God, show me, where do you want me working? Okay. And here's something. Let me give you a little tip. If you begin to work in something and you just begin, and it's just so much for you, and you just feel that may not be your gift. It's okay. If you start something, you get in it and you say, this is not for me and it's not your gift. Okay. Or if it's your gift and you say, well, I know my gift is working with animals. I know I have wonderful healing hands and I can work with animals. And then you begin to work with dogs and cats and realize that's not where you're supposed to be. Well, it may be that you're not supposed to work with dogs and cats. Maybe you need to be on the farm with the cows and the chickens. Okay, come on. But you've got to work your gift. You've got to work your gift. You've got to say, okay, if I work this gift, then if I keep on working this gift, eventually I'm going to determine, God is going to show me what my calling is, and I'm going to be operating in that call. And as I operate in that call, then I will be walking completely in my purpose. Okay? Because like I said, if I don't pick up the knife, the fork, and the spoon and do something with it, then even though I know that their purpose is to serve food, they'll never operate. They'll never walk completely in their purpose of serving food if each one of them don't walk in their calling, or they don't operate and do what they were made and called to do. Whew, I tell you what, I had no idea I was going to get this excited over this teaching tonight. Okay, had no earthly idea, but God is just showing me that there are those of you out there that if I could just come through here and go, come on, you can do this. Come on, just spend 30 minutes a day cultivating your gift. Spend 30, and here's something else. Let me tell you. Then we're going to go to question number 3. All right, is stop being fearful of your gift. Stop being fearful of your gift. Some of you are afraid that if you really begin to step out in your gift, that you'll be rejected, or you won't do it that well, or people will laugh at you. then you know what? It's your gift, not theirs. I found out that the reason why people say certain things is because they don't have the courage to step out and do what their gifting is. If you have a gift to sew, then make something. Make a handkerchief, okay? If you have a gift to organize, then go help someone organize their materials. Go help someone organize a room. If you have a gift to clean, if you have a gift to fix hair, you know what? Whatever your gift is, cultivate it for 30 minutes a day. All right. Cultivate that gift for 30 minutes a day and then watch God begin to open doors for you. Okay. I have the gift of teaching, but there are certain places that I just don't teach. All right. There are certain places that I just don't teach. I hear Kathleen saying, ouch, or she's typing ouch in there. Okay. If you ladies are with me, type in a 1 in the comments. If you're with me and you're going to cultivate your gift for at least 30 minutes a day. Now, when I say type in a 1 in the text box, if you're willing to cultivate your gift for at least 30 minutes a day. Now, the reason that I say 30 minutes is because if you do something for 30 minutes long enough, you'll begin to do it for all the time. You'll begin to want to cultivate for 30 days. You'll begin to want to do something with that for 30 days because you know that if you don't, you feel like you've missed something. Okay. Cultivate your gift for 30 days and watch God begin to open doors. I cannot wait for the testimonies that are going to come out of that. So you may say, Dr. Saundra, well, how do I cultivate my gift? You cultivate your gift by reading about your gift. Okay. Right now I've got, these are all my books over here. You can't see them. I picked up another book at the conference, and this is the book that I'm just reading right now to cultivate my, these two are from my presiding bishop on my leadership gifts. One is called Leader Shifts, and one is his new book called No Opportunity Wasted. Okay. That's going to be using that for my leadership gift, for my other kinds of gift, my teaching gifts. I'm in class. Okay, for my coaching gift, and I'm developing a new course for women in corporate. A women in corporate is called Career Clarity Masterclass. My coach may change the name of it. She may ask me to change the name of it. For right now, it's looking at how do you get clarity around your career. Okay, so we're working on that course, and I'm always cultivating my gift of teaching. Always. All right. I didn't always know that was my gift, but I mean, I knew I loved teaching and learning. Didn't know it was my gift until I started doing something with the little bit that I had. Okay. When you do something with a little, God will give you much. What do we say here in the Vision Building Institute? What we always say is that when you move, God will position you for more. When you work on your gift 30 minutes a day, read, pray, just begin to go out there and do it. Okay. If your gift is working with kids in sports, then go find somebody to work with. Go coach a team. If your gift is working with young people, go be a mentor. Go get a mentoring program and work with young people in a mentoring program. There is so much need out there. Remember, like I said, your gift, people are waiting on your gift. And if you don't do it, they're missing their blessing because you're not operating in your gift. And when you don't operate in your gift, you cannot operate in your calling. And if you're not operating your calling, then you're not walking completely in your purpose. And if you're not walking in your purpose, then that's why you feel frustrated and angry and upset, because you feel stuck, because you're feeling stuck because you're not doing something that God has ordained and made you to do. Question number 3. And I've got 2 minutes. All right. Question number. Oh, thank you so much for the ones. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, hey, Tamika. Tamika says, yes, I'm ready. 111. Okay. Little bit. Don't try to take the whole thing and do it all at one time. 30 minutes a day. Just a little bit, and watch what God does. Yes, Sharon is correct. Your gift will make room for you. Okay. Now, before I forget, if you know someone who needs to be in the vision building women group, please add them to the group. Add about 3 or 4 people that you know that needs to be in this group. Okay. Add 3 or 4, let's say 5. Add 3 to 5 people. Add them to this group, and I have to go in and approve. My team will go in and approve them, but add them to the group. They'll get approved. Ask them specifically to watch this teaching this month. Okay. Starting with tonight, to watch this teaching, because I know that purpose, so many people have it so mixed up, and it's time for God's children who he has already set and who he has already ordained the plans. The Bible tells us that God knows the plans that he has for us. Those plans are already there, but you've got to nurture that gift 30 minutes a day and watch God show you those plans. He's not going to give you everything at one time, but watch him show you those plans. All right. Question number 3. Last question. Okay. Whew. Now, the last question. Remember I said question 1 and 2, I could answer for you. Question number 3, you got to answer it yourself. And question number 3 is, how long are you going to make excuses for your inaction? How long are you going to make excuses for your inaction? You know, so many times we have regrets. You never have regrets over something that you did. Sometimes you do. But most of the time you have regrets over something you didn't do. It's time for you, as of this night, how long are you going to make excuses for your inaction? Okay. And for you English teachers, tell me if that's a word. I know inactivity is a word. But I didn't even look up to see if inaction, if inaction was actually a word. You know, there was a survey done, and there was a survey. One of my CEO mentors sent me this, and he said there was a survey where there were hundreds of responses from participants over 6 studies. And researchers found that the biggest regret in life, 76% of the participants and respondents said, was not fulfilling their ideal self. Okay. And what they were saying is that they didn't do what they knew they were able to do. They had gifts, they had talents, they had skills. They knew that there were things and places that they could be helping others. But the reason they were never fulfilled is because they didn't take the gifts, the skills, the abilities, the resources, the passion. They didn't take those things that they had and just start to do something. They didn't take it and work and just do a little something and let that little turn into much. They didn't take it such that they got to, because one day when you're gonna get to a place and you're gonna say, this is what God called me for all the time. This is why when I started in taking some action with what I had, when I started that, it's like your eyes become open and you will see this is what God called me to do. He gave me all these gifts, skills, and abilities to be able to do this. I look at the past 30 years of my life, and it took 30 years. I heard my pastor say it today. It took God 30 years to build him for the assignment that he has today. It's taken me 30 plus years to be able to get to where I am today. And it took me 30 years to get here so that I could teach you, so that you wouldn't have to struggle and do the things that I had to do. So I could just say, you know what? Go spend 30 minutes a day cultivating your assignment. But again, how long are you going to make the excuse for inaction? If it's not, Donna says, if it's not a word, it should be. Oh, Yolanda says it is a word. Thank you, Yolanda. Okay. How long are you going to take and be and have inaction in your life? How long? You've got to decide that you are no longer going to be inactive when it comes to your gifts, your skills, your abilities. You're going to use those. You're going to say, okay, I don't know what my calling is right now, but I'm going to work with what I have. I'm going to operate with what I have. How long are you going to make excuses and not do it? I contend that tonight is your last night. I'm going to drop the mic on that. I contend that tonight is your last night. I'm sorry, I have to apologize for all. I just look back here. I'm working, was working today. And so I have some stuff back here. I never did move it. I usually put this, move that stuff away and get sort of set up for you guys. But I'm going to go right back to work as soon as I stop this. So I have to apologize for you seeing all my work back there. All right. So again, how long are you going to make excuses for inaction, for your inaction? How long are you going to make excuses for not going back to school? How long are you going to make an excuse for not studying for that certificate? How long are you going to make an excuse for saying, I know I've been called in the ministry, but I'm just not going to do it today? How long are you going to make an excuse? It's getting hot in here. How long are you going to make the excuse and say, I know I want a better job, but I'm comfortable here? How long are you going to make that excuse? I agree with you, Jazz. Tonight is my last night. You know, when we were in Columbus, one of the nights we had to wear clergy attire, and I just have something's going on around here. You hear y'all. I don't know what it is. There's something going on. Okay, it takes a whole lot more time now to get rid of weight once you get on this side of 50. And so my friend and I, she and I were rooming together, and we talked about this is the last time that I'm going to say, whew, okay, I need to lose weight. I'm not saying that anymore because I already know that. Okay. Let me stop making excuses for my inaction and let me start eating right and exercising. And I do. Okay. I could eat a little better. Okay. This is one of my weaknesses. Okay. McDonald's tea. Okay. Because I love it. Okay. It tastes like my mama's tea. All right. So that's one of my weaknesses. But how long am I going to make an excuse for my inaction? How long are you going to make an excuse for not going back to school? How long are you going to make an excuse for not writing that book? How long are you going to make an excuse for not doing the 30 minutes a day? Because I know some of you are going to get to tomorrow and you're going to say, oh, my goodness, I do not have time to read for 30 minutes. Or I do not have time to cultivate my gift for 30 minutes. I know you're going to do that. Some of you are going to do that. There are hundreds of you on here right now. All right. And I know you can't see the numbers. I can actually see the total number. That's why I like to get on here with my computer. All right. As opposed to my phone. The phone doesn't show you the total number for some reason. I know that some of you are going to make an excuse and you're going to say, I can't cultivate. I don't have time to cultivate my calling. Well, let me tell you something. Then if you don't have time for it, don't expect God to open a door for something that you don't even have time to go get the key and unlock the door. Yes, I said it. I told you I'm not making very many apologies at 55. I'm not making apologies at 55. Chapter 55 is going to be about no excuses, no apologies. All right? Because I love you ladies so much. And there's so much that God has called you to do. I don't want you to make any more excuses about your inaction. I'm not going to call it inactivity. I want you to take action. And I don't want you to make excuses for your inaction any longer. Don't make excuses for it. Just do what God has said. Take whatever skill. Even if you say, well, Dr. Saundra, I don't even know if God has said for me to do it. You know what? Just begin to work. He'll give you some more. If you just begin to work with what you have, he will give you some more. He'll begin to let you know where you need to be. He'll begin to open doors for you that you didn't even know were out there for you. You just got to begin to work. Some of you have been wanting to start a business forever and forever and forever, and you haven't done it. Okay? Go ahead and do it. Start with a little bit what you know. Just go down to a community college and start with the Small Business Center. They're free. Tell them what your idea is. Get them to help you. All right? Just start with something. Okay? I know that tonight, the title of this was 3 critical questions to walking completely in your purpose. You can't walk completely in your purpose until you're operating in your calling. All right. And when you operate in your calling, you're doing and you're moving with the skills, the gifts, the abilities, the resources, the passion. When you move with all of that God has given you, then you can begin to operate in your call. God will open up doors for you. You will begin to operate in your calling that he's called you to. Okay, you'll begin to do those things. And when you do that, then you are living out the purpose that he had for you. Because when you do those, you're going to be glorifying him. You're going to be witnessing to the lost. You're going to be destroying the work of the enemy. It's a natural fit when you're doing what God has gifted you to do. Okay. Whew, I'm so excited about this word. I'm just so excited about it. All right. I'm going to do something with this. And I tell you that because I know that there's more in you. I know that there is. I know that you have so much in you that you know you've been wanting to get out, that others have already told you is there. But for whatever reason, you said not now. Don't make any more excuses for your inaction. Don't make any more excuses for your inaction. Let me say it one more time. Don't make any more excuses for your inaction. Don't blame it on the kids. Don't blame it on God. Don't blame it on the husband. Don't blame it on anybody but yourself. And then what you need to do is take some action. 30 minutes a day, cultivating your gift, and watch God just begin to show you more because you're cultivating what he's already given to you. Okay? If God has called you to sow, then start sowing. If God has called you to start a business with your talents, then figure out what you can do. If God has called you to encourage and to help others, then begin to do it. I can't tell you enough how important it is because there are people waiting on you. Okay? If I hadn't stepped into and done what God had called me to do, I wouldn't be here right now, today, teaching. Wouldn't be here because I'd be making excuses. I got to go to work tomorrow. Well, I do have to go to work tomorrow. I do have to work tomorrow. Okay? But I'd be making an excuse as to why I couldn't come on live every Sunday night. Okay? All right? I just want you ladies to do what God has called you to do. I know that you can walk in your purpose. I know that when your calling and when you're operating in that, then you're going to be walking completely in your purpose. And don't make any more excuses for inaction. Do something this week, 30 minutes a day, to cultivate your calling. Cultivate your gifts. All right, 30 minutes a day. And then watch God begin to open doors for you. All right. I hope tonight's teaching has blessed you. I hope tonight's teaching has awakened something inside of you that has helped you to grow and to help you to get to that next level in your calling or in your career. I hope it shook some stuff up in you such that you'll want to get to that next level and you'll do whatever it takes to get to that next level. Now, again, invite 3 to 5 friends to be a part of this amazing vision building women community. If you're not on my email list, then please make sure you go to drsaundraspeaks.com, drsaundraspeaks.com, and get on that email list. Okay. Chapter 55 starts for me on Tuesday. I expect to get a happy birthday from everybody. Yes. I ask for what I want, okay? You don't get it. The Bible says you have not because you ask not. And I love birthday greetings. I love each and every one of you. Remember, 30 minutes a day, cultivate your gift, okay? Cultivate your gift, 30 minutes a day. Don't make an excuse of having inaction, all right? Please, 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 3 to 5 women, add them to the group this week if you know that these teachings on purpose and calling and giftings are going to be for them. Add them to the group. And then remember, we said 30 minutes a day. If you're not on my email list, please go ahead, get on that email list, www.drsaundra, and Dr. is Dr. Saundra speaks give me my email address, drsaundraspeaks.com. drsaundraspeaks.com. I guess it's time for me to go to bed. It's 10:13. Thank you, ladies, for hanging in here with me tonight. Love each and every one of you, and I'll see you this week in the group. Have a great, great night. Bye-bye.